Oh. So it's been about 12 hours since Sakura Genesis 2021, where we saw Kota Ibushi defending his IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against William Ospreay. But before we get to the result of that match, let's take you back to January 2021, where I made a bold prediction that Will Ospreay would win New Japan Cup 2021. Now, what I did not predict was for Will Ospreay to lose to Okada at Wrestle Kingdom 15, which threw me off, and to this day I feel like was a big blemish on Will Ospreay's 2021 so far, but it's one blemish across like a lot of the W's he's had so far. So he loses to Okada, but then he starts making, you know, the climb up. He's beating these guys. He's beating Tenzan. He's beating Satoshi Kojima, which is really barely an achievement, but he's beating these guys. We enter a New Japan Cup, and he goes down a list of guys that are like, okay, knocking down guys left and right. He knocks out David Finlay in the semifinals, which nobody believed David Finlay was making it to the finals, but that would have been really nice to see. Then we get to Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi. They have a great match. Will Ospreay ends up winning. He RKO's his girlfriend. Fans hate him even more. Fans hated Will Ospreay way before that incident, but now there's more of an incentive to hate Will Ospreay the person rather than Will Ospreay the wrestler. Enter Sakura Genesis 2021. We get another really good match between Kota Ibushi and Will Ospreay. Not the best one I've seen them have, but definitely a really good one. And Will Ospreay ends up defeating Kota Ibushi to become the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, I would be remiss to say I didn't see this coming, because once he made it to the finals, I almost was 50-50, like, Ospreay's probably going to beat Ibushi. Like, even though Ibushi only was the champion for like 4 months, which wasn't really that much of a great reign, he had like, what, 2 defenses? They didn't really get much of a run with it. Will Ospreay is the guy they've been building up for like, they didn't just start building up Will Ospreay as a heel. They've been building up Will Ospreay for years. Since 2018, they started building Will Ospreay up and priming him for a top spot very soon. 2019, they put him in like every tournament in the goddamn yearbook. And this guy shined. And that's what really put a lot of eyes on him in 2019. Him being in all those tournaments and having all those damn, you know, 5-star matches. You know, he ended up having one of the greatest matches in New Japan's history against Shingo Takagi at BOSJ 26. He wins that, goes into his first G1 climax, doesn't really win much, but you know, he has great performances. People are ready for Will Ospreay to be in that spot. Now, mind you, Will Ospreay's been saying, oh, well, you know, I still identify as a junior. I don't want to leave the juniors behind. But then he goes to the heavyweight division. Fucking traitor. So he gets the call up, but then the panoramic hits, and then he gets sent right back to the UK. He comes back to New Japan, enters in G1 Climax, turns heel against Okada, has a match with him at Wrestle Kingdom where he loses. To this day, I really don't understand why Will Ospreay lost that match. That's like the one blemish on his 2021, but like one blemish out of like 18 different W's so far, right? So he picks up some wins going into New Japan Cup. Then he enters New Japan Cup, and actually wins the whole thing. Makes it to this match against Kota Ibushi, and then he beats Kota Ibushi to become the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and the pro wrestling community lost their minds. And listen, I don't blame you if you hate Will Ospreay the person. I mean, I'm not his biggest fan either. I'm very, very far from it. I would even say I don't like Will Ospreay. Not I ever met him as a person, but from the impressions I get from him and what I've heard he's done and said, I don't like him as a person myself. But as a wrestler, he's undeniably one of the best New Japan has right now. Like I said, in the ring, Will Ospreay, I would even say, is great. Now, on the mic, he's not great, but in the ring, he's great. So you would think, okay, well, put the title on Will Ospreay, have him run with it. I understand why New Japan did it. I could even understand if you want to say, oh, New Japan's going in a new direction. That's good. I want them to do new things. I want them to try something different. I've been begging New Japan for the longest time to do different things. So that matter makes me happy. But then I start thinking about it more, and I'm like, I don't know how I really feel about the way this went about. Firstly, like I said earlier, I expected Will Ospreay to win New Japan Cup. I just didn't expect him to beat Kota Ibushi. Now, I'm not mad that he beat Kota Ibushi. What I'm a little bit mad about is the fact that Kota Ibushi unified the IWGP World Championship and the Intercontinental Championship into one title. He unified them into one title. Fans didn't like it. Fans were against it. Japanese and Western fans hated the idea. New Japan still rocked with it. Kota Ibushi was for it. And a lot of fans actually started turning their back on Ibushi, which I was just like, I don't know why they're doing that. Then, like, 1 week earlier, we actually get the reveal of the championship. Kota Ibushi's holding the championship. Fans hate the design for it, but it's like, well, that's the bed you made, now you gotta sleep in it. Then we get to Sakura Genesis, and Ibushi loses the title. It's like, huh? Like, what was the point of Ibushi's arc being that I want to unify the titles, I want to do this with the titles, I want to da-da-da-da-da, and then he don't even fucking hold the title longer than a fucking week. I know technically in the history books, Kota Ibushi's been a champion for a calendar month because when he beat El Desperado, he became the World Heavyweight Champion. But bitch, when he got the title design, that's when he actually became the champion. And that was like a week ago. About a week ago. Barely a week ago. Like, Will Ospreay is the heel here. Why didn't he just have Will Ospreay be the one to unify both titles? That way we can have more reason to hate Will Ospreay as a wrestler. What ended up happening is people started to dislike Kota Ibushi, the wrestler, because of this. And then when Will Ospreay beat him for the title, Kota Ibushi just looked dumb. It just made Kota Ibushi look dumb as hell that you made this decision, this very drastic, big decision that affects not only the company, but the history of the championships within that company. And then on top of that, you'd even hold true to your word because the first defense you have as a champion, you lose. How do you lose? This man literally went to G130, won, then lost the briefcase to Jay White, only to somehow manage to get into Wrestle Kingdom, beat Jay White, avenge his loss, then go all the way to unify the championships, and then do the same exact thing with the briefcase. He fucking lost in the first defense. Like, if you're a Kota Ibushi fan, like, how could you exactly be like, yeah, it's a rough day to be a Kota Ibushi fan, I'll tell you. So I guess Kota Ibushi had his time. You know what? I'll be satisfied with what I got then. Just like Naito fans have to be satisfied with Naito's very lackluster reign, I'll be satisfied with Kota Ibushi's lackluster reign as well, I guess. So Will Ospreay's a champion. Where do we head now? Who's gonna be the first guy to challenge Will Ospreay? So many names to choose and pick from, so many new and fresh different storylines you can do. You can go with Naito. Naito and Ospreay sounds very fresh. I could do that. You can go with Jay White. We already been getting heel versus heel, like, faction warfare between Suzuki-gun and Bullet Club. I wouldn't mind seeing Will Ospreay versus Jay White for the title. That'd be kind of fun. We could do Will Ospreay versus Minoru Suzuki. That's a very fresh feud and matchup I would like to see programs for. Or we can actually go outside the box. I know he's injured right now, but let's just say he comes back very, very soon. Why not touch back on the Hiromu Takahashi Will Ospreay feud from 2020? And because Hiromu beat Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom the year prior, maybe Will Ospreay goes to challenge Hiromu, so that way he could avenge that loss, to really harken back to his original story arc of wanting to bridge the heavyweight in the junior division, because that's what he wanted to do originally before he fucking forgot about that whole arc. Like, there's so many new places New Japan could go that will honestly gauge my interest, but they decide to go with Okada versus Ospreay, which is the match we just got 4 months ago. And now Okada's been out of the title picture for about a year and a half. I give them a lot of credit for keeping him out of the title picture for that long, but like, but then Shingo Takagi comes out, and you know, I'm excited for it's like, oh, we get Shingo versus Ospreay, and then I'm like, wait, Shingo versus Ospreay just happened, like, you know, a few weeks ago, like. And Shingo's like, oh, but I beat Okada, so I should get the championship match first. And Ospreay's like, okay, well, I'll face you, Shingo, then I'll face you, Okada. And I'm like, we got 2 championship matches lined up that are sure to be great, but none of this is new. None of this is new. The one thing I will give Will Ospreay is that it's not Bullet Club shit. Will Ospreay doesn't need the United Empire to win his matches, and I fucking love that about the United Empire. Even though they're heel factions, they don't have to fucking conform to the stupid, redundant, dumb shit heel tactics New Japan relies on every week with the Bullet Club and sometimes Suzuki-gun. So I'll give them that. They just added Toa Hanari to the group, so I'll add that too. But the second we start to see something new, we start to go right back to where we just were. It's like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back with New Japan, I swear, bro. It's like you can't win at this point. But what do you guys think about Will Ospreay as a new champion? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think this is a new direction, New Japan, a new era, as fans love to say, in New Japan? Comment down below. let your boy know. Love you as always. I'll talk to y'all later. But before I go, we now have channel memberships. Woo! So I've been talking about this for the last few weeks on my live streams, but guys, we actually have memberships on this channel for more premium content and stuff along the like. And by joining certain tiers, you unlock certain things like members only polls, member only live chats, priority comment replies, shout outs at the end of my videos, early access to videos, like you could have had early access to this one, videos that were deleted from the YouTube platform, and even you possibly being featured in one of my future videos. There's a lot to look into. Check it out. But what do you guys think about Ospreay as a new champion? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think they're heading in a new direction?